What's up, Charles?
What's up, my brother?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Just came
Two,
out.
two
Snickers
eggs.
eggs for Valley. I mean,
Is,
for Easter. For
is it
Easter.
that? Is it that time already? Is Easter coming around the corner already?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right, man. Next week is already Good Friday, followed by Easter Sunday.
Followed by
Wow.
M&M's. Then, if you need protein, followed by pepperoni sticks.
Well, well.
Yeah.
I here.
Then followed by gummy frogs. Hmm. Yeah. Breakfast of
Wow.
champions.
Yeah. Last night Patsy made bread pudding.
Yeah, and your lovely wife tried to contact, but I just went all over the place today. It was one of
Oh
those.
man. With raisins and chocolate chips and coconut, and
Mm.
it was delicious, man. The texture was just out of this world.
Yeah.
By the way, if you guys get Instagram, go check her out at Desserts by Patsy. Go follow her on Desserts by Patsy. She just had on contest. Hey pops, my dad is on. He's coming home next week. I cannot wait, man. He'll be coming home, Charles. You're gonna finally get to meet the world famous Thomas Raposo.
All right. On. Right on.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. But yeah, Instagram Desserts by Patsy. She just had a contest. I don't even know how the contest worked, but all I know is we did a randomizer, and who was it? Not Mariah. Mariah's sister, Ukaboom. Ukaboom won a whole tray of mochi, chichi mochi,
Or Chichidongo.
chichi dongo.
Yeah.
So yeah, jump on, guys. Desserts by Patsy is her thing on Instagram, and go follow her and jump in on the contest. She's gonna be doing a lot of those things, giving a lot of that stuff away.
Hmm.
So yeah, check it out. Not designs. Desserts by Patsy. Check it out. Check it out.
Well,
Well, bro, we got about 7 minutes to kill before the 7 o'clock hour. I know I wanted to chat a couple of things. I wanted to call tonight like Calabash or something. Friday. Just,
Kablash. It's called Kablash.
anything. Kablash.
Kablash.
Anything. We just gonna talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We will talk a little bit about COVID. Whatever you guys like to talk about, pop them in the comments. If you have a question for Charlie or myself, put them in the box. We will try to answer what we can. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, I don't know if you noticed, Charlie, it's kind of quiet now. It's all, there's not much being said. The weekly report came out Wednesday. The numbers climbed a little bit, but the thing we got to watch out is the positivity rate. That is 4% and higher depending on which island you're at. I know George get the our good friend George White has the numbers, but I know it was 4% and above. That's not good. That's not good. And
Mhm.
a lot of people are simply not testing. A lot of people are doing home testing. So we really cannot rely on the case counts because we're just not testing. So again, the same stuff. You know, protect yourself. Maui, Elizabeth just said Maui climbed by 50%. Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see if you watch the news tonight. Congress, we got a bunch of Congress people all out. White House staff out. Pelosi tested positive, and she was kissing the president and everybody else. So I expect that cluster to grow. It hasn't gone away, people. I think a lot of people are under the impression that COVID is gone and that we're in recovery, but it's not. It's nowhere near being done, and it's now the dominant strain in our country, which was expected. So we just got to be careful, guys. We got to be careful, right?
Yep.
Be careful.
Well, there's a lot of things that's coming over the horizon. I see some of the comments. They say that there's a lot of tourists, but We all faced, you know, I mean, everyone faced hard times when the tourist count dropped. So, it's the numbers are there to show that we need them, but, and I'm going to stress this, but it has to be controlled and maintained. Okay. That's why I say the program that they have out in Hyena, they control the egress and ingress. Okay. If you got 10 going in, they won't open it until 10 come out. It's plain as that. That can preserve the surroundings for future generations to enjoy. If you're just a business person that really don't give a, then you just flood the area. But guess what? Then we go back to the old adage that, okay, you can bring the visitor in, but what about all the neighborhoods that get affected, right? We have to have a balance no matter what. We have to have a balance. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Because now, given what we have now, either the prices of gas is going to go up or they just going to restrict production. One of the two. And then once they start restricting production, everyone who has a gas vehicle, they'll be buying for that same amount of gas on your island until such time it can be replenished again. Then, there is no rationing program. So, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of moving parts. And I think we ought to come to the table and everyone start dishing out some real hard, concerned, um, discussions about what direction do we go. Now, you know, remember now, there are people out there that they don't have the time nor the patience to want to sit on a table and to have a logical discussion. So to them, I say, that's your prerogative and stay home. Okay? While we in the sandbox, stay out of the sandbox. We're going to end up there. So there's, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts, and the reason why I sound the way that I do now is I want to be fair to both sides. I'm not here to be a mediator. I'm just saying I have my position, and everybody knows that position as well. But in the same token, um, I gotta be fair to the other side. That and so that's why I said, hey, if we just stay out of each other's hair, we can always learn to coexist for all the right reasons.
Yeah, I guess Charlie, what is frustrating for me, again, and I've said this before, Hawaii, for anyone that thinks we're going to do away with tourism, they're
Hmm.
mistaken. I mean, that's not going to happen. Hawaii
Right.
will always be a destination. Hawaii will always have a tourism industry, a visit industry. So to think we're going to replace that with farming or agriculture or high tech, or it's not going to happen. So we need to accept that. But this is the frustration, Charlie. We had Mr. DeFries on the show from HTA. We heard him. He did numerous speeches. He's been on numerous newscasts. We've heard our legislature talk about managed tourism. We heard the governor, we heard the lieutenant governor, we had all these politicians talking about managing tourism, and this was going to be the reset. This pandemic gave us an opportunity to do a reset and to reevaluate. But let me tell you, once COVID started to dwindle down, the last surge, once we started to get into this lull, um, it's like they forgot what they said. In fact, they had a huge celebration, a big event with the Japanese tourist industry agency here on Oahu. Cannot wait to reopen the flights. I mean, and I understand they're targeting certain types of visitors, but you cannot target certain visitors when you're promoting it in the media, right? You cannot. We talked about this before. You don't have to promote Hawaii. Hawaii promotes itself. So any promotions of our state is going to invite all kinds of visitors. So that was something, I call it a pacifier, to make the people think that they were concerned about the raping of our resources, about the raping of our quality of life for us local residents. They wanted us to believe that they were actually honestly going to move forward towards a managed tourism program, and that is not going to happen. They are trying their best to get as many people to our state as possible in the shortest time possible to recoup. And that's the frustration for me, and I think for many others, is that, you know, as a leader, and I don't care what level, Charlie, and you know, you and your operation on at the airport, right? And I can say this because I know you do this. Is you do what you do what you say you're going to do. Say what you do and do what you say. You know, and that's how you build trust and loyalty and respect, right? You
Hmm.
tell somebody you're going to do something, and you say it with so much conviction that people believe you, and then you you know, once the threat is gone, or you think it's gone, it's not gone. COVID is still alive and well, but nonetheless, the you know, the messaging is that it's gone, and we're safe. And then you change direction, and really, I don't care what you tell us anymore about managed tourism. You're not doing it. You don't plan on doing it, and we're going to suffer the consequences again. And it's two things, right, that I just mentioned: the quality of life for us local residents who got to live and work here every day, and then of course our natural resources.
Yeah.
There is a carrying capacity at all of our resources, whether it's beaches or parks or facilities or roads. Every single place, every single island, every single location has a carrying capacity. This state and this county has never determined what that capacity is, and we don't care, right? We don't care. So we bring as many as we can, and then we deal with the consequences. And unfortunately, it's the local residents that's going to suffer. That's what's happening right now, and that's the reality, and that's the frustration.
Well, I hope tonight the discussions we have, I see a lot of great comments right now coming across. But I do hope and pray that we can learn a little bit more in a realm that seems maybe not obtainable at this time, but hoping that we can store it when the time does come that we'll be prepared. And that is, there's so many things that happen, and I want to say that we learn from it, right? We learn from all uh, the good, the bad, the negative, the minuses, and everything that's been happening, what to stay away from, what to embrace. And I think where we kind of lose sight of doing the right thing is because from the amount of time that's been spent, I know again many people that are just real impatient. And it's understandable because we've all been in the same boat. It's just that some of us have a tolerance that's greater than others. We can continue to be patient for, we live this many years on earth. I'm pretty sure we can live some more and get those that say, you know what, the world would end tomorrow, and that buffoon just graduated from school or whatever. And so they say they like things now. And I come across and I say, but have you really researched and see who laid a foundation for what you're enjoying now? Have you really looked at that? I mean, people that boss up just laying the foundation so that you can enjoy. I'm not saying that we fought for freedom. I'm saying that some of us was actual guinea pigs that went forward and see how much times you're gonna get zapped, and then we can come back and say, okay, don't take this route because you're gonna get hurt bad. Go this route. There's many. That's why. And I talked to a good friend today, and maybe there's those out there that I hope you can chime in and maybe put up a comment or two. There are some individuals that forgot what it was like in old Hawaii. How you want to talk about community helping one another. Back in the old times, it's young people always helping the kupuna. Now I'm looking at some of these young people; they just bypass them on a fly. I still, when I see kupuna getting hot time at the supermarket, carrying all their groceries, I have no problem carrying it or pushing their wagon and unloading it for them. Because you know what? I'm fortunate. They're at the end of their lifespan, right? Come on, gang. Let's let them enjoy. What's so hard about helping them out? And it hurts me sometimes. I go down to the mall. I see these young folks, you know, what happened to the days of being polite, holding the door open for somebody, right? Especially if they're older than you. No, it's okay. Like, no, I going in first. First come, first serve.
Yeah.
Ooh, sort of hot tongue when I see that. I said, no, no, no. I said, why? Why you gotta do that? It's tough.
Yeah, there was definitely a shift in mindsets,
Yeah.
a generation ago, and then and that's us as parents and teaching
Mhm.
our kids, carrying on what we were taught by our parents. Like I always said, my mom and my dad both, they taught us respect. My grandparents too. I mean, it was all respect, man. Don't you dare disrespect any elder, anybody older than you, uncles or aunties or anyone. You don't. But that still existed to some extent, but in the old days, that's just everyone was that way, right? Everybody in school, even the jackasses in school, they would act all tough, and then once the teacher or uh, some older person would say something or go, hey, they would stop because it was the respect, not the fear. It was the respect, and part of the respect is based on fear because if you had screw up and your parents found out, you get licking. So yeah,
Mhm.
Charlie, you're exactly right, man. I don't know how I don't know if it's even possible to get back to that. I mean, we all are getting older, right? Our kids are older. We try to do our best with our kids, and can only hope that that level of respect will carry on to them and their kids. So
Have you ever seen that? I did a Facebook post one time when I was in Honolulu, and I'm holding a little blue-eyed boy on my lap. Do you remember seeing that one?
not really.
Okay, I'm gonna try to bring it up. Well, anyway, the backstory to this is I went to Honolulu for an appointment, and on my way back, I saw this young couple with their son, and his name is Brody. And they came all the way from Canada, and you could see they were physically tired. And he was just anxious, running around, and the mom looked like she was ready to drop. And he just came to me with his big blue eyes, and he just stood. I was sitting down. He just came right up to my knees, and he looked at me like that. Like I must have looked like a Hawaiian Santa Claus to me. And I picked him up, and he allowed me to pick him up. And I told him, Mom, if you don't mind, I'll rock him to calm him down because that's what I did with all my grandkids, right? That's the kind of stuff that brings the most joy to me when I can lend a hand and you know, okay, the boy is Caucasian, so what? But he's a kiki of our aina because they're coming to visit us. So why not let them experience? And so I posted it in Facebook. He took a picture of me, and his name is Brody, and I was just rocking him, and he kind of like. And so I told Stephanie, not getting any ideas that I'm in Honolulu to visit one ex fling, and this is our child. No, no, no. That don't even think that. But it's things like that. It's things like that where we have to we have to help whenever we can. And sometimes we'll be tapped out ourselves, but we hope and pray maybe one day somebody will give that helping hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
That's
exactly.
why I see that. And in my younger days, who I used to get irritated when they said, "Oh man, you know can control the kids." But as I got older, I said, you know what? Lord, forgive me for thinking like that back then, because you don't know when you ever gonna get that chance again, right? And so that that family was just so grateful when they bought in the plane. In fact, we took separate flights, but I was there way early, so the flight going before us was going to Maui, and of course I was coming back to Kauai, and I just said, please have a great time. And throughout the whole time, you could see the child just kept on looking at me like you kind of wonder what he was thinking if we ever need to see each other again. And maybe who knows? Maybe one day when you're a big 6 feet four young boy, good looking kid come up and he goes, remember me, one of those things. So,
Never
hmm,
know, man. You never
yeah,
know, man. And I hope that does happen.
yeah.
But Charlie, I think and I saw the comment, the post from Jeffrey, but it's the parents, and it's so true. If parents would teach their kids from a young age about that, about the respect and about caring for others, and that if those kids at a very young age had that feeling, that rewarding feeling
Hmm.
after they helped someone, regardless of what the situation was, they realize how rewarding that was and the good feeling you get. That would change the world, man. It would change the world. I'm convinced that if we as parents could teach our kids at a young age, but today we just give them, we give them the phone, we give them the cell phone or the iPad, and we tell them, hey, go watch your cartoon or go watch whatever you watch. And most parents don't even know what their kids are watching, and they're getting all of their influence from uh, bad influences, and that's the problem, and that's how they're learning today. That's what we wonder. How come we're losing the Lord's Spirit? Because they're not watching on their iPads and iPhones. They're not watching Aloha Spirit shows or videos. No, they're watching violence. They're watching sex. They're watching gambling. They're watching all of these things that's been fed into their very young minds, and they never get an opportunity to learn that respect and love that we were. That was just the way we were brought up. So for us, it's second nature, right?
Right.
But for them, it's not. Their second nature is watching crap, and parents have that's the easy way out, right? That's the easy way to keep your kids quiet. Just throw them in front of the iPad and put up some kind
Right.
of silly video, and that's how our kids are learning today. And I remember talking to one of my friends who runs a car dealership, and he says, "No, we interview people coming in. These young kids come in for job interviews. They have absolutely no social skills. They cannot. They don't have social skills. This pre-pandemic, so it ain't about the masks. It ain't about social distancing. This was way before COVID that we had law. And this is where I question, some of these people, the anti-maskers, right? The anti-maskers and the anti-vaxxers, they blame the loss of social skills on the pandemic. And parents, I hate to tell you, those social skills were lost way before COVID was even a thought. Yeah, and no blame COVID for your shortcomings as a parent and tossing them to watch these videos and stuff. But now they have a very convenient excuse, right? No, you can, they're not going to learn any social skills. No, they lost that a long time ago. It wasn't because of COVID. So
Yep.
we just gotta teach. Um, we gotta teach parenting. We gotta be able to teach our kids throughout the short time that we have with them before they become adults and they get married and they have children. We got to use that time as parents to teach our kids how to be parents, and parents, real moms and dads, not just a landlord for your room and your cook. No,
Yeah.
no, we have the responsibility, and that's where I think that the attitudes got to change, curriculum's got to change, and we gotta kind of like reset the educational system to have these basic social skills being taught, and parents being able to reinforce what they're learning by their actions at home. And that's just not happening today. It's not happening.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Before we go on, I would like to say to all of our family and friends out there, thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight's a night of, we want it to be truly a feel good Friday. We want to stay away from some of the things we've been discussing. I mean, we'll touch on it. But for the most part, we want to dedicate tonight to what do you want to talk about out there? And I'm just happy to be on with my brother Mel. It's been a while, because our paths have taken separate uh, paths of journeys because of what I'm involved with. But I tell you one thing, you know, people say, Uncle, you're not getting younger. Why come you're not slowing down? It's just I'm up for the challenge, and every day is a new challenge. I'll be honest with you. When you work and people are set in their ways, both anybody, it's hard to change people's minds. But if you just do a little bit every single day, sooner or later, they'll start to see what you see, and then at that point, you allow them to make the decision whether they want to take the action, the path that you're taking, or they're gonna take their own. And if they take their own, it's totally up to them. And that's why I always say, nobody gonna follow me. It's okay. The bottom line is I just don't want nobody to get hurt. That's always been my focus. You know, we can always learn. We can always agree to disagree, and in the process, let's not us get hurt. So welcome. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Um,
Yeah, I did, Charlie. I did wanna pick your brain a little bit
okay.
tonight, and it's not really in the category of Feel Good Friday, but there was a lot of discussion today on Facebook about. By the way, I got put in Facebook jail today
Oh,
for absolutely no reason. It said that I was temporarily blocked because I was using the feature of Facebook too fast. I wasn't even doing anything on Facebook. I had just logged on, and I was just about to put a comment in a post, someone else's post, and as I
hmm,
typed in and I hit enter, I got this thing that came up says you are temporarily blocked because the feature that you're using it too fast. I honestly have no idea what that meant, but I couldn't post, I couldn't comment, I couldn't do anything. I did file a real quick appeal, and it got resolved within an hour. But yeah, I got to be in Facebook jail for a little while today, man. That was pretty cool.
wow.
Pretty cool. But anyway, prior to that, I saw, and I can't remember if it was on Kawhi Rants and Raves or wherever, but it was on one of the groups that some Turo operator posted a long post about how she was so angry with with you guys, Charlie,
Hmm.
with the airport security people, because you folks are not allowing Turo to park in the public parking lot, and you guys don't support small business, you don't support the locals, you guys only cater to the rental cars. How can you guys allow the rental cars to park? This is how uninformed she was. She says, how can you allow rental car companies like Enterprise to park their cars in the parking lot? There's, we know there's no commercial parking, no rental cars parking in the um, what do you call, in the public parking.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure, but anyway, so she went on this long rant, and I gotta say, everyone responded uh, against her. Everyone I shouldn't say everyone, because there were a couple of people that kind of supported her position, but the vast majority, the vast majority, let me just say, it backfired on her, and they basically said, "You guys are taking away parking stalls from our kupuna, from our aunties, from our uncles, from our parents, from us. That we got to go to Honolulu for the day. We got to catch flights. We got to park, and there's no parking." So, Charlie, I wanted to ask you, number one, what's happening at the airport as it relates to Turo, and number two, is the airport or the state allowing commercial rental car companies like Enterprise to utilize public parking stalls? Number three, what is really happening down there with parking in general, not just Turo, but commercial operations in general? I know it's a
Okay.
loaded question. It's a loaded question, but I know a lot of people, and you can start to see the questions:
Yeah.
who gets revenue, and okay. So go ahead, Charlie. It's yours, buddy.
Well, like anything else, the parking lot is actually controlled by a vendor that was successful in bidding for the RFP when the RFP was first developed, right? Because the state was not in the business of operating parking lots. So thus they have what is called the company is called ATM parking, and they have the contract statewide. So one of the problems were they've only got so much parking spaces, and what some of the tour operators were doing is they were actually conducting their business in the parking lot, dropping the cars off, making it convenient for their customer to go there and get the car. So in the beginning, these people, they didn't care who it was. They just did the sales, and the vehicle of convenience at the time was Jeeps, right? So you would see a whole back row, 20, 30 Jeeps. So these people come off the plane. They don't know any better. They're looking for a jeep. They go to the jeep. The keys in the console. The ticket's right there. They drive the jeep out. Good for them. Then what was happening was people were bombarding us that, oh, my jeep got stolen. I go, what do you mean got stolen? Come to find out, the wrong guest took the wrong jeep, but it tied up security. We were making reports left and right. These people, they don't know that. It's easy for them to talk. That's one. Two, they got all these trash bins inside the parking lot. These tour operators, they didn't give a damn about keeping Kauai clean. They was over there. The rubbish can was overflowing with the opala from the guests that rented their vehicle. Do you think that these tour guys paid anything for the cleanup? No. So not only did the contractor have to clean up, but sometimes it was so much they had to tap in on the state to go and assist and clean up the rubbish to keep their place clean for everyone. Then these tour operators, because think of it this way, you rent one car, I'm the person that rented your car. When I'm done, the only obligation I have is to return the car to the parking lot. I'm gonna catch on flight and you may never see me again, right? So as far as I'm concerned, I have no vested interest. I'll park wherever the hell I want to park. So these people was parking right in the lane, the ingress or egress from the parking lot. Guess what happened? Nobody can come in. These things were repeatedly happening over and over again. Our job as security at the airport is to number one, to ensure the safety of the traveling passengers. That number one, we don't allow any terrorists to get on the flight and do something harmful. That's the primary thing. Secondly, we make sure that nobody climbs fences and gets into the airport to cause harm. Because if something were to happen, can you just imagine how many lives will get affected? But yet we're too busy monitoring a parking lot because all of these operators were coming in here. And so one of them had contacted me and said, hey, you know what? We pay taxes too. I says, yeah, me too. I pay taxes. I pay monthly fees. The parking ticket you ain't pull. You paying for the cargo? No. You making the person, you made the sale to pay for that, right? That's what you're doing. So it's all this kind of stuff that it's okay for them to tell a story, but be real and tell the whole story. Because like the rental cars, they are required as part of the impact to contribute to the infrastructure at the airport. I saw a lot of them, they build out, you know, they get the wash racks. They
Hmm.
build out the wash racks. You know that a lot of them do get fines. That's why they have all these catchment systems. You know the cars, if they leak, it cannot get into the drains. Do these tour guys know about that? No, they don't. They don't know about that. Do they care if their car leaked in the parking lot? No. So if you get harmful waste going into the storm, every single one of my personnel right now, they got to go to that stormwater training. What can go in a drain and what cannot go in a drain. Every business in an area, employees have to go. But yet they're exempt because why? They just want to make the money. They don't want to take the time out to come and get the training. So they talk about enterprise. No. The enterprise that you see up at Kentucky Fried Chicken in Leawood, they're renting that off-site, but they cannot come with an organized type of pickups from the airport. So what they do is they have people with private vehicles actually go pick them up and they take them up there because they don't pay for the fees at the rack, which is the rental car center, right? So the rental car center pays a big amount, but they also pay the fair share of all the taxes and all the infrastructure. None of these guys in the parking lot though. They don't. And that's for God's honest.
Yeah.
So that's
I kind of wanted to get that clarified because you know
yeah.
that's the problem when you as a lay person reads that and you say, well, how can they allow enterprise to park in that parking lot? and not Turo. Well, if that was happening, I would be very upset. Um, but that's not what's happening. And Enterprise, who has an offsite parking, all of those Hertz and Budget and all of those guys that are inside the airport that have their own lots, or they're up on Alkini Road, or they have these guys are paying the state to utilize the airport property for their operations. They pay handsomely too. They pay a lot of money to have their facilities on the airport property. Now, Turo, what troubles me, or what confuses me, is they don't see how they're inconveniencing the local residents. They don't. They think they're entitled to use the stall because they pay because they pay taxes. Well, that's a private operation. That, as you said, Charlie. And one of the questions was who was the vendor. You said it was ABM.
Yeah, ABM parking.
So ABM has the lease or has the contract for that facility. So that has nothing to do with your taxes. So yeah, you pay a fee to park in there, but the fact that you pay county taxes or state taxes doesn't give you the right to use the parking lot. You got to pay to use that parking lot because it's a private operation. But they don't see the inconvenience. And I've seen the stories, Charlie. I think you talked about one where you allowed that person to park in a specially designated area so they could make their flight to Honolulu for medical purposes. Now that person should have a stall. So I don't. That's what I think confuses me is how can these people? How can they not see that they're having an impact to the local residents? And that is interesting, and that's kind of troubling. Now there are a lot of tour operators now. So for me, if I was a tour operator, I would get with the other tour operators, Charlie. I would go find go see one of the landowners and go get a couple of acres and have your car, and everybody chip in. Everybody chip in. Now you go pass the fees on to the renter. So don't make like you're gonna lose money. No, the renter gonna eventually pay, and then you have a shuttle, right? Like a traditional business, right? You get the necessary permits and licenses from the Department of Transportation, from the airports division, and do it properly. That's all I'm saying. I mean, it's what's you cannot just go open up a business on an airport. You cannot, and that's where I'm struggling with because we believe that you should follow the rules. We believe you should follow the rules. Doesn't mean that I don't think you should be able to do Turo. No, you can. I think Turo is a great service. I think it's a benefit. I think it helps out a lot of people. Even locals use Turo when their cars are hung up for a while or whatever. If they get family coming in from another island and you want to provide a car, Turo is great. But the airport is a whole separate operating agency of the state, and there's rules, and you got to follow the rules. That's all I'm trying to say, Charlie.
Yeah. So the point that you've made, and that is, if certain businesses that's not properly registered, that's not permitted, it's not allowed, is given the opportunity to go ahead, nothing is done. There are provisions on the book right now that give the tenants who pay all of these fees, gives the tenants the right to sue the state because the playing field is not even. It's not on an equitable sense. Because what they're saying is that we invest a lot for their privilege. It's like if you want to ride the best, you gotta pay the best to ride in first class, right? What these guys want to do is they want to pay economy class, but they want to sit up in first class. That's what they're doing, and they don't understand that. So what that does is the playing field is not even. Yet these guys are putting in a lot of money into the situation, and then what happens at that point is they have the right under certain provisions to turn around and sue the state, and the state cannot continually be a. I was one of those, like maybe like an activist attitude. The state is, the state that. But until you get into a position like where I'm at right now to see all the moving parts, then you understand why. And I'm not saying that you folks have to. I just say now I know why. And I have a better appreciation for the many that work in all the different departments that makes this economic engine run. So we can either decide to live in paradise but live poor, live slummish, or at least have some sense of pride and dignity, and the people that come to visit us and have some place to visit. And at the same token, if we need to conduct business on outer islands, we have a place to park. Now, understanding, if I know I gotta go catch a flight, it's on a holiday coming up. I don't know why people would want to even fight traffic to go down to the airport. I go to my friend's house close by. He said, "Brother, I will leave my car at your house. It's okay. Yeah, no worry, Charlie. I take you to the airport. I take you and Steph to the airport. We drop you off." So a person who had a lot of cars in the parking lot, and you know who I'm talking about, had a lot of cars in the parking lot. We talked to that person, and he was 100% supportive. He said, because there's lots to be made, but we got to do it right. That's what he did. Within 2 days, he removed over 100 of his vehicles from the parking lot. He went, and like you said, he got him a property close by. And what he did is he entered into agreement with one of the lift companies because they have the ground transportation permit to pick up and drop off at the airport. So when their clients come in, they will pick them up and take them to the car off-site. What's so hard about that? And he says, "Hey, I have no stoppage in business. It's going like gangbusters."
Yeah, I mean, you're charging these guys a daily rate.
Yeah.
You add in the lift fee or whatever, whoever you contract, you use Lyft because they're licensed, they're approved, they're authorized. So
Yes.
you set it up, right? And what is Lyft from the airport to a parking? It's $5, $7 maybe, right? So that's a one-time fee, right? So you charge 7 and 7. So you incorporate that into the price of your daily rate, and then you charge him. The guy doesn't know he's paying for his own lift. He doesn't know he's paying for his own expenses, yeah, right? Because it's in the rate, the daily rate of the car, and that's how it works. And these guys are going to use it. There's people that will only use Turo because they want a local car. They don't want a rental car. So yeah, I mean, to me, that's if I was operating Turo, that's what I would do. And but no, they just want to be able to park. And if it was one or two, you wouldn't really be a big problem. But when you have hundreds of operators that are utilizing, and I saw the lady, one of the tour people said, "Well, my car is only parked there for a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours at a time." Well, if the passenger load that comes in certain times of the day, right, Charlie?
Hmm.
So you would expect that all the tour operators are going to be taking up that stalls for 2 or 3 hours a day. And that is the same times that our local people got to get on that flights to get off the island. And they're all showing up at the same time, and there's no parking stall. So your 2 to 3 hours may be little for you, but to the person that needs to get on a plane that has no parking stalls, it's huge. And again, it comes back to consideration, right, of others. And
Well, here's what happened. So now the independent operators did not think to have someone like a dispatch center, if that's what they wanted to do, right? To think to count how many cars going in, how many cars coming out. With all these tour cars inside the parking lot, and those trying to catch a flight to return their tour cars, they can't get in, right? Because the lot's full. So that's the other operator who now can't get his car. The guests can't get their car into the parking lot. Guess what they did the other week? They were parking along Ahukini in the bushes. They just leave the car. How you can tell? Because they come in out of the bushes with suitcase in tow. So we spin the camera around. Bingo! We see the tail, the Okola end of the car sticking out from the brush. We call the tow wagon, and they get mad at us. Hey, that's not that's what I'm saying. You don't have any structure in telling your people when you return the car. There may be a possibility you may not have parking. If that's the case, call me. I'll come and get the car from you. But not just make them fend for themselves and they're gonna drop them off at any place they want. Now somebody just wrote here, do we check the old airport? Yes, they do. And we tag. We tag the vehicle if it's improperly parked. Because every space along the old airport area is accounted for by the vendors, like the helicopter company, like Signature, like everybody there. It's all, and if the person can't account for it, guess what happens? The license plate number gets turned into the office in Honolulu. It's matched up against the Turo. The Turo provides a sheet of the participants, and for those out there that are listening, if you feel you have questions to ask of Turo and you're participating with them, the email is mjohnston. Okay, that's for Michael Johnston. It's mjohnston at Turo.com. He wants you to email him because he's working with the state to make sure that their participants are not violating the law by operating out of any of the state parking lots because it is prohibited under the Hawaii Administrative Rules for commercial activity. So, we're making attempts to try to, hammer this thing out. And I think they're trying to move in the right direction. But as long as a few of you continue to do this, you're going to hurt the whole program for everybody else.
Yeah, because if it continues, the abuse continues. I can see the state saying, stopping them from coming in at all, and ruining the opportunity for the state to work with Turo, the Turo corporate people, to find a solution. Right?
Hmm.
Remember when Uber and Lyft first started on Kauai? They weren't allowed at the airport, right? They weren't allowed, but uh, I was still on the council at the time, and I met with both of those the corporate people on separate times. One day I met with Lyft, one day I met with Uber, and they truly wanted to find ways that they could accommodate not just their drivers but the community. These
Hmm.
guys want to help. They want to operate obviously because it generates revenue for them, but they want to do it in a way they don't want to see what's happening now with us when you get this people all pissed off with Turo. They don't want that. They don't. It's bad for their business. It's bad for their bottom line. So they want to find a resolution. So now is the time for all the tour operators to get together and come up with solutions and work with Turo to make it worthwhile for everybody.
Right.
That's what they got to do. Rather than go on Facebook and blame the state, blame my friend Charlie. I get mad when people blame Charlie for what he never do. I get really upset. Like, come on, guys, don't you understand that you guys, it's not, you cannot do it. You just cannot do it. But anyway,
But anyway, we'll get off that topic now. I think I've said what I needed to say. I'm sure there's going to be some out there writing comments and yeah, M Johnston, yeah,
M Johnston at
at
Turo.com.
Turo.com, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, I think Uber, I think Lyft, I think Turo provide amazing opportunities for our local people to earn some money, provide a needed service. I
Hmm.
honestly would much rather see the tourist dollar going into one local brothers, local sisters checking account through Turo, Uber, or Lyft than to some corporate giant company on the mainland.
Right.
But again, we gotta make sure we're doing it within the rules that are specified. And if you don't like the rules, then we'll change the rule. Go talk to your state legislature. Go talk to your governor, and change the rule. But until that happens, you gotta follow the rules. That's just how it works. And just
You know,
everybody.
it's just like someone asked me, okay, the comparison, the rules, the rules, the rules. I said, okay, you have the right to purchase a firearm. Okay, you have the right to protect yourself. The law says you protect your home, your castle, right? Your castle does not extend beyond the boundaries of your home. That's why you get arrested real fast if you're walking around with one gun in your pocket. Even though it's registered to you, you won't get arrested. It's the same thing. There are rules basically set up that says you have the right to own a weapon. You just can't be carrying it with you out in the general public. And as you can see, we're getting on another topic. We get all these, in the last couple of weeks, how many young people, where they get access to guns, shooting at each other, right? One saying that, oh, I was only defending myself. But brother, you wouldn't walk up and put a gun on them first. Oh, but I was defending myself because the guy would reach for his gun, so therefore I shot him dead. What?
Yep.
Crazy. Crazy.
Yep. Yeah. And these guys were not even old enough to buy a gun.
Yep.
So I know
Crazy.
some of the legislature, they like jump in, they like make the rules more tough. But the reality is this, Charlie, the tough gun laws in Hawaii, as we have the toughest gun laws in Hawaii,
Yep.
and it really prohibits or prevents bad guys from getting guns. So, but they're not. These guys aren't getting the guns legally. They're not getting it legally. So you could make you could make the laws as tough as you want. These guys aren't buying it to gun stores, or they're buying it from druggies. They're buying it from bad guys. So yeah,
And,
that's a discussion in and of itself, man.
and what's getting me so upset now? You think, okay, we're going to tighten the laws, right? So a person took a risk by doing something that he shouldn't have, and he got caught. Well, guess what happened? They go to jail. But because it's overcrowded, you gotta let him go.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. It baffles me every time they catch one, or somebody escape, or they get somebody wanted, some fugitive, and then they come out and say, oh, this guy can considered armed and dangerous. He's had 67 convictions. He's had 120 arrests. Oh, okay, why is that man free? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Why is he out? If you get
yeah.
67 felony convictions, armed robbery, assault, attempted murder, why is this guy even free? You know, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh, there's your pops. Yeah,
Yep.
there's several states that have permits to carry a gun. Here's the problem that I see. Okay, one I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna always stay close to what I'm about to say. That is, a life is a precious thing. It should not be taken senselessly. What happens is, even when I was in a department on my own time, I never carried a gun because, for some reason, if somebody knows you're carrying a gun, you got a big bullseye painted on your back or on your chest, and it always happens that way. Okay, it's just like when we respond to housing fights. Your planning officer smaller than me, yet the boss will like go pick on the biggest guy you can find. Does that make sense? And then when he get dirty licking, he take me to the commission and file a complaint because I boss him up. No, you came after me, so I put you down and I silenced you. You have a smaller guy you could have gone pick on. And that's the kind of stuff that I don't understand. When you give somebody a weapon, nobody really knows that once you pull that trigger, because I've been involved in a case involving the discharge of a firearm. You think that I felt good? No, because you cannot call back that bullet. I'm going to tell you that right now. Once it goes, it goes. And so that's why I think responsible gun owners, they do it for sport, they do it for hunt. I appreciate that. But for these kind of guys, it's like carrying them around. You can tell when you get the bullets. They put their gun on their side, and they got to get that bulge just so. I don't like show you my gun, but I like let you know I get one. But the things they bulging out of the side, right? The shirts they popping out, so you know the person get on fire. I go, you know what I do? That is a doodle to the 10th degree when you do that. I said, man, I know what it is.
I tell you. Oh my goodness. All right. What do you guys like to talk about, guys? What do you guys like to talk about? What do you want to talk about? Hey guys, I posted up the blood bank will be here next week. What are the dates, folks? If you can donate, hang on here. I gotta go look up my dates.
I want to say hello to one of our villagers, and she's like a daughter to me, and I love her dearly. Melissa Bolton finally went back. She's working hard. Sweetheart, if you hear uncle, be careful now. Because I know getting tiny cases uh, that's starting up again. Just be careful. You're right in a direct line when you're registering the people coming into the hospital. Just be careful, okay? I don't want to hear anything happening to you. And this poor girl, okay, if it's not COVID, her and her husband and the family, the husband's a ranking officer on one of the destroyers at Pearl, right? Guess where she lived? She lived right when they had the fuel spill at radio, the military housing, and where they was discharging the water. That poor girl, she was exposed to that.
Yeah,
I said, man,
yeah. Here we go. Boom. There it is, folks. This is on Kauai only. This is the Villagers on Kauai, April 19th, 20, 21st. This is at the Sheraton Kauai Coconut Beach Resort at the Makai Ballroom. Um, if you can, guys, check it out. It's on my page. So if you want to know, please just go to my page. But, you know, the reason why there's a shortage of blood in Hawaii right now, it's statewide because of all the elective surgeries being done that were postponed.
hmm
And of all the, Charlie, you mentioned it earlier, shootings, people falling
yep,
off mountains, car accidents. Patsy's auntie is in Queens right now.
no boy,
Had a bad accident. Somebody crossed the center line by the golf course last week. She broke a ton of bones. She's had surgery on her hip. She's had internal damage. She's pretty much in a induced coma. We pray for her, Auntie Dane. She's one of our villagers. She is one of the most loyal villagers we've had. She is on. She has been on our show every single night since we started, Charlie. And she's at
so
Queens right
sorry to
now.
hear that. So sorry.
Yeah, and very very sad. And but it's all of those things that contribute to the shortage of blood. So if you can, please, if you're on Kauai, and there's drives going on all over the state. But if you can on Kauai, April 19, 2021, um, you got to make an appointment. So check out my site. There's a little QR code you can click in and make an appointment. So please, if you can do it, appreciate, appreciate, appreciate. It's actually at a crisis level. So um, please, if you can.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sign up again. I know in the late '70s, early '80s, right before I got into the department, I forget how many. You reach your first gallon, you go in, right?
Yeah,
And I forget how much I gave. I know it's kind of like a layaway. They get your name in the system. That's how much you gave. So
yeah, they
well,
keep track, and you get all kind of recognition. Yeah, so cannot
yeah.
cannot you just cannot emphasize enough how important that is. And
hmm
if they don't have the necessary supply of blood, then surgeries get canceled. It's just that's just how it works, right? So if they cannot fill up these blood banks, then they'll start. Obviously the priority surgeries will go first, and as the less severe or less important surgeries will be canceled. And I get mine coming up on May 11th, so I like make sure that blood bank is stocked before May 11th, so I can have my surgery. I do not want to miss that next surgery. I want to make sure we get it done.
I just got a text from one of the nurses. I cannot give. It says um I gotta re-register because it's been some time, but I cannot give because unless I am Snickers free. So I gotta make sure that I am free of Snickers.
No, that makes the blood sweeter, though, Charlie. That makes the blood sweeter. You know, it really does. I was
Yeah.
donating every 8 weeks until the pandemic, then they scaled back. Yeah, the pandemic really slowed down the amount of donations because you couldn't go in. I mean, and COVID, when we were at the peak periods of this disease or this virus, yeah, people never went and donated blood. So now they're playing catch up.
Yeah.
So yeah, please, please, please. Please.
You know what I want to see too? I want to see Hawaii because we're in the middle of nowhere. You know, we're you remember that song? What is the loneliest number that you'll ever know? But we're in the middle of nowhere, gang. Let's stock up our supplies, our life-giving supplies, such as blood. Let's do it, okay? Because we'll never know. And I'll tell you what, I was very fortunate that I was a recipient in my operation, and they don't tell you, what bag it came from, but I just want to give a blanket mahalo to whoever gave blood and whoever when I received it. Much mahalo to you. Thank you so very, very much.
Yeah, the blood bank, good thing. Good thing. So let's go check
Mm.
it out. Anything else you guys like talk about before we start to wind this bad boy down? I know we kind of Monday we're gonna have the state of Hawaii now is interested to find out how the general public feels about our healthcare system. Um, like Charlie said, kind of late, but no, I mean I think so. They contracted with a nonprofit, and unfortunately, I'm gonna forget the name, but they're going to be on our show on Monday night to share what their project is about, why the state Department of Health is looking at improving. We talk a lot. We talk a lot about the shortcomings of our health industry, about how our underserved, uh, the poor, the kupuna, the people that live out in rural areas have difficult time or cannot afford to get treatment. So we're gonna bring them on and share the importance of this survey. They reached out to us to see if we could help them promote the survey. And I know it's not a exciting topic, but we really hope you guys could tune in on Monday night and jump on that survey and let them know how you feel because that's going to dictate how we move forward. So Monday night, I'll put up the slide as soon as I get their pictures, and then we'll put them up there. But that's Monday night at 7 o'clock. But hope you guys
Uh,
can join us. I
Prob-
know. I think Charlie. I think people kind of, like I said, I think the shock of COVID for many people has gone away, and a lot of people have returned to their pre-COVID life. They they're the guards have been dropped. They've dropped the guards, and they're assuming that everything is okay. And we got to remember that COVID is still here, and we got to be safe and be careful. And we got to know we should know that cases will be spiking shortly, as it was predicted a month ago. It's going to be by probably by May. By May or June, we're going to see another big spike. So we just got to be cognizant of that. But I know that the people are just getting tired and tired and tired. So we Charlie and I are trying to figure out what we're gonna do with this show. How we're gonna, what do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to see? Local entertainment? You guys want to see local topics? We want to keep the show going. We really want to keep the village intact in between spikes. But I mean, we can only talk about COVID when we're in a lull so much. So we want to hear from you guys. Really, what do you guys want to hear? You guys, what do you guys want to see? Who do you want to see on the show? We're definitely gonna make it happen. We're definitely gonna make it happen. As we enter the campaign season, we'll be bringing on some candidates for office, all except one. Any candidates except one, of course, but you all know who that is. But we want to try to start bringing those people on to hear their thoughts, ideas, their plans. But we're very, very, very interested in hearing from you folks to find out what you guys want to see. What do you guys want to see?
well,
What do you think, Charlie?
I hope I hope it's again, folks. It's never easy what we do, but we try to be fair, impartial, as well as informative, and there's a lot of things that's going about, and we just got to make sure that we still make the right choices. One thing I do want to talk about, and that is we got for the sake of our kikis. This past week we had three um, high schoolers, young adults, went missing. Well, they returned home, and there's something going on there because I talked to one of the aunties, and for you parents out there, you get hard time with your kids. Say something. I'm sure get people out there that are willing to help. Anybody out there need somebody to talk to because there's so many things that's happening. You know, Everything was on a heightened state of alert. Bingo, and then all of a sudden it dropped off as if he was falling off the edge of a cliff, and you need somebody to talk to. Hit us up on a messenger. Just shoot us a message. And we'll contact you because too many people are falling at the wayside because they feel that they've been neglected, and we don't want that to happen. Okay? We want to make sure that you folks all get your fair share of being heard. Okay? So I really, really hope and pray that you folks need that help. Um, we'll be there. Now, in answering some of the questions that's popping up right now, Uncle Charlie can ask that candidate to come on the show. You need to allow that candidate equal time like everyone else. Okay, which candidate are we talking about on that? Yeah, I don't. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's a loaded question, and the answer is no. No, but we'll have some candidates on, and one of them on the 22nd. It's going to be very, very interesting for the island of Maui County. There is a formidable force that'll be running for mayor. He just retired off the bench as the top judge in Maui County, Rick Bisson, and he is running for governor, and he'll be with us. So,
Mayor.
sorry, mayor, not governor, mayor. Oh boy, here we go again. Being scolded, gonna get scolding. I'm gonna be in Facebook jail. You watch. No, yeah, he's gonna be running for mayor against Victorino this coming election year. That'll be interesting. So we're gonna have him on the 22nd, Friday, April 22nd. So if for those of you on the beautiful Valley Isle, you want to hear this candidate speak and see what he has to offer, by all means, we invite you to join us on the 22nd, Friday, April 22nd, to basically meet and greet mayoral candidate Rick Bishop. Now, here's the backstory to it all. And I shared this with Mel tonight. Rick Bisson, his family, I believe his dad, and my brother who passed away from COVID, Eddie Bisson, he was adopted by the Bisson family. His adoptive father, I believe they're brothers. So that's how there's this relationship that I have with Rick. Well, in fact, I knew Rick before my brother who passed away found me. And so everything sort of like came in full circle. So I'm excited to hook up with Rick again. So he'll be on the 22nd.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Mayor Victorino, as you all know, is a good friend of mine. I've served with him for many years. I did reach out to him. I actually did speak to him a couple of months ago and told him, well, why you avoid my calls, man? Come on the show. Come on the show. He said he would. He never called back. So again, the invitation is open to anyone that's running. If you want to come on the show and share your platform, share your ideas, please, 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 just get in touch with Charlie or myself, and we get you guys on. We get you guys on. Um, you guys know I'm running for Kauai County Council again. It's been 3 years. I had a 3-year break. It'll be 4 years when the election comes up. But I did serve 14 years on the Kauai County Council in the past. The last 4 years of my terms were as the council chair, and I just want to go back and try to bring back my legislative experience. And I don't like promoting myself. I hate this part, but I really, really want to let the villagers know that I appreciate. We put the announcement. The newspaper never printed my press release, which was supposed to have gone out on April 1st. Maybe they thought it was an April Fool's joke. Maybe they don't like me. Whatever the case is. So I posted my own Facebook announcement, and I got a ton of positive responses from our villagers, and I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We did get some donations from our website. By the way, website is Mel for Council. Let me put this in here. Mel for Council. Oops, fat finger syndrome. Mel, come on. Mel for Council .org.
Oh, the 22nd is the night of the Kahiko. Oh, Mary Mana. Okay, well, we'll get in touch with them and we'll see. Maybe we might have to readjust maybe Wednesday night because it's a Mary Mana. So, and yeah, this year I will be running. I'll be running from Mel if he wants me to run.
Oh, that's good news, guys. Share it now. Share it now. Let everybody know before he changes his mind.
No, no, no,
I,
no.
I would love to serve with Charlie on the council, provided we could get elected. I, you know, but yeah, we could definitely you guys support melforcouncil.org. You can go and check it out. You can sign up to volunteer or make a small donation. Every little bit helps. Uh, so appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Yep.
This time is going to go by really quick. So
Okay. Well, we're about wrapping it up.
yeah, what's
Uh,
your thoughts, Charlie? What's your thoughts, man?
Tonight has been one of those times of reflection. Uh, I'm trying to look back, and things have gone by so fast. And I do want to say to all the people down at the airport again, thank you so much. Some of you have said, Uncle, your life is important. You gotta slow down. Yes, I get up at 3 in the morning, get to the airport, and I stay like a couple nights. I mean, finishing like 8:30, 9 o'clock. But, and the reason I do it is because I love the challenge. But more so, I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. I don't like when there's accusations made against my staff. We all make mistakes, but when the complaints come in, you can see they're far-reaching. But this not only goes for airport security; it goes for every single hard-working individual at all airports throughout the United States. All they're trying to do is ensure your safety, getting into the plane safe, and making sure that the plane takes off and lands wherever its destination is. And so I just want to make sure that all of you understand that why I am so passionate about the airport. I'm also passionate about the fact that many of you have stood with us day in and day out, listening to the information that we had because sometimes when COVID first started, if you think about it, when COVID first started, there was not much information. There was a lot of hogwash going back, but there's a lot of confusion. And that's also coming on the federal level from the CDC. There was a lot of confusion. We were just fortunate enough to get everything into its right perspective thanks to the many experts that we've brought on this show. It's not Mel and I, Uncle Mel and Uncle Charlie were just the facilitators, but we had the hard facts from those experts and we thank them. We thank them for taking the time out to share with you all the needed information. And that's the reason why many have felt that the show had value. And I'm so honored that we could be, you know, guiding this ship. So all of you can be guided in the right direction. Hopefully. Hopefully. I'm not saying that we're always right. And we've come out and said before, if we're wrong, we'll admit it right off the bat. But for the most part, we have been right thanks to those experts. But more so, thanks to all of you that joined us and have expressed that you want to hear more. So we'll continue to bring more in all different facets as the Mel and Charlie show will be transitioning into other things like business. We got to get our business going. We got to get it on solid ground and we got to do it right. So we'll try to bring those experts in as well. So with that said, today is Aloha Friday. So for those of you that have the weekend off, please have a wonderful weekend. Whatever you do it in moderation, but do it safely. Okay, brother Mel, back to you.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to let everybody know, we had Dr. Tim Brown on not long ago, and he said that, this is a lull. And he said, we'll give it 3 weeks. And if we can maintain this level of uh, living with the virus, then that would be the time. He said in about 3 months, that'll be the time where we can actually start believing that we're coming out from this pandemic area. But we got to get through this next surge. So I just want you guys to know that we did not forget about the village concert. We did not forget, people. I did not forget. Uncle Charlie never forget. This concert is going to happen, and every day that we get by, every day that we can go out
Mel,
and
you come
protect
in
each other,
broken. You frozen,
gets
Mel.
us
You
gets us one day. I mute his ass. Sorry. We gets us one day closer to that concert. I promise you guys, every day that we get through this pandemic, we get one day closer to the concert. And I am so excited. I am so excited about that. And that is my motivation to continue keeping the strong, keeping the village alive. So when that concert happens, look at Charlie. I muted his ass so he cannot stop until I'm done. Once that happens, guys, we're gonna have a good time. That concert will happen anyway. Charles, did you want to say something, Charlie? Hey, all right, guys. Hey, is this a real concert? Yes, it's a real concert. It will be a real concert. It really will be a post-COVID concert. But it won't be done until we know it is safe. And while many people believe it's safe right now, we're still cautious. Okay, we're still very, very, very cautious. And once we get the green light from the medical experts and not the politicians, we will go. We will go.
and we will be bringing on a very special guest, world-renowned violinist.
Who?
But, huh?
Who?
World-renowned.
Okay. Okay. Whatever, man. I'll take the violinists. We'll bring them all on. We'll bring them all on. I know for one thing though, Charlie and his band will be playing, and they will close it out, guys. Just want to hear Uncle Charlie sing and Uncle Mel dance to the tunes. Well, you're gonna see half of that. You're gonna see half of that. You're gonna see Uncle Charlie sing, but I can promise you, you ain't gonna see Uncle Mel dance because I don't know how. So yeah, we'll have fun. We'll have some comedians. We'll just be fun, guys. It'll be fun to get you to meet you guys in person. And that's what we're shooting for. Hopefully this year. Let's just say hopefully this year. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Have a super duper weekend. We'll see you guys Monday night. Take care.